everybody, I'm Lisa Thorpe. I'm just giving you a quick little instructional introduction to colorizing your fabric with Pentel fabric dye pastels. And I want to share with you some of the panels to colorize that I have on my shop. This is the fruits and vegetables. This is a brand new one, Birds in Blue, and then Wing and a Prayer Flag. So if you need something to colorize, you can get those fabric panels at my shop at lisathorpe.com. But you might have made a rubber stamp with me in one of my classes and stamped some fabric, and you want to colorize that. So those are all the things you can colorize, and we're going to get to it with the overhead camera here. So I've got my pastels, and you can see I use them a lot. So I've peeled the paper back, and you can even sharpen it with a little hand pencil sharpener. You'll want a piece of scrap white or muslin to do a little practice on, and a piece of parchment paper, and you'll also need your iron. I have mine, let's see, let's set it on cotton, okay? So the best way to get started is to practice a little bit. Practicing is always good. Practicing getting some shading done and sort of a blending idea. So it's always good to start with just a light hand. And this is not unlike coloring with crayons. So if you're someone who enjoyed coloring with crayons, I'm just putting a little yellow and then this yellow-orange color on top. And I'm going to work my way down in the warm tones to some orange, and then some red. And I'm putting on pretty lightly so I can build the color. And I'm going to put my parchment on here. The nice thing about parchment, I can see through it, but it keeps my iron clean. Now, as your fabric heats up, then the dye pastel kind of soaks into the fabric a little bit, and you're able to add more color. So I'm just gonna bring the color up on this so you can see how that works. Building up color. A little bit of the fabric texture may come through depending on how smooth or rough your fabric is, and that's all part of it. It shows that you're working on fabric. So you just keep building till you get the color you want, and play around with a blending. And then also you can play around with a dark to light. So I've got a little bit of the dark blue here, and I can lay that down, and then the bright blue, lay that down. And then you can do some blending with white. So I suggest you take a little time. You can pause the video and play with blending and making all the colors, doing a rainbow run like this, trying out all the colors, black to white to gray, and play around with that until you feel comfortable with it, until you like it, before you start on one of your fabric panels. I'm going to demonstrate on one of my little bird panels here. Oh, that's from the vegetables. How about this guy here is a little goldfinch, and I want to bring out the yellow tones on this, but also put a little bit of, little bit of warm orange in there. I have a really bright head. I'm going to bring that out. Maybe use the yellow orange a little bit. Heat that up with the iron. And remember to use your parchment. And keep building the color till you have it the way you want. I think I'll put a little blue in the background here. I'm going to do it really pale. Now, because my fabric's pretty warm from ironing it, the dye pastel goes on very easily. And I'm just going to put a light layer of blue. I don't want that too dark in my background. And if I wanted to, I could blend it a little bit with some white. That kind of brightens the color up a little bit. I'll do that just to see how that looks and show you. I think I'll do my berries red. That's always nice, bright color. I like to put a little bit of orange when I do the red. I think it just makes this color red a little nicer with the orange and the red together. So that's what I like to do. It's up to you. You can play around with that. I'm going to heat this up and get it in. And once you've ironed it, it's really set, and this is washable and usable to create all kinds of wonderful things. Let me show you a few that I've colored and then done some stitch with. So this is part of the bird series. Hummingbird. Here's that little goldfinch, bluebird, cardinal, and a chickadee. So these I'm going to sew together to make a little wall quilt, and I'll do some hand stitch like I've done on this with the fruits and vegetable panel here. So that's just a little idea about colorizing your panels. And remember, you can go to lisathorpe.com in my shop and connect with some of those fabric panels and play around with some colorizing and hand stitch. And if you do, I'd love to see what you make. Okay, bye for now.